Abiatu, this round of very quick succession Eurobond offerings or borrowings at the global marketplace is on the back of very decent oil production and oil prices. So how long do you think Nigeria will be able to ride this tiger before oil prices will misbehave somewhat, and then we will have to deal with some very existential and new issues?
I think the cost seems clear for the rest of the year. If you ask me, the big elephant in the room on the oil price is more of the shale production, which we expect that maybe towards the end of the year we are going to see some push up in terms of supply from that front, and that clearly would have some price impact regardless of the OPEC production cut that we've seen. But between now and then, I think the government has taken a good advantage of the opportunity. And one thing they've done smartly so well is that these papers are long dated. It can have its disadvantage looking forward, that by the time you look at the debt ceiling or going into the near future, say 5-6 years further down, if the economy, the transformation agenda, and the import substitution and all whatnot that they've been driving, if they do not materialize, then we may have another monkey to cage by then. But for now, in the next 2-3 years, I think we're good.
I got that point there, and I'm just take that a little bit of phrase out of it. We're looking at the ERGP, as you say. We've done a bit of an FX ban on a number of items and all of that. If I may rephrase what you said, if we don't keep these policies in place, if we are not loyal to them moving forward. So we're looking at the 2019 elections. So if for whatever it takes, the polls and the current administration is out of office, for the sake of argument, you think, or perhaps it retains governance, but decided to, so at some point, try to jettison some of these. So what do you see ahead?
I would first say that I believe the government is a continuum, and that's what we've seen. A couple of agendas from the previous administration were, brought forward even within this new administration. So, but that said, in the odd occurrence that this project or this ongoing transformation agenda is tweaked or dropped somewhere along the line, I would not. It's hard to call. I would. It's anybody's guess by then. The realities around that time would determine what the future would bring.
And no one knows tomorrow, really. Neither exactly. You or I. But look at this global Eurobond, and those of you who play, I know your firm, Vertiva Capital, plays both local and international. But then, how are the local guys at the home front on Broad Street looking at this Eurobond success and the space that the Buhari's administration is now creating for local institutions, whether industrial, financial services, what have you, to take advantage of the spaces created to borrow local?
Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. On the tradability of these papers, we are aware that the FMDQ and the NSC are currently working on modalities for the papers to trade locally, which is very cherry. We would expect that entry levels for retail investors will be considered. So volume threshold and all whatnot would cater to the need of those people. And also on the local bit, that's the local currency investments now. Like I said earlier, this will reduce crowding out impact for the federal government. So the local investors and also borrowers would be able to work within that space and match up to the banks, get financing or funding for their projects, and the economy would, reflect itself.
Finally, Abiatu, and we thank you so much for this very lengthy Skype conversation. Where do you see market rates on debt, local debt instruments trending as we prepare to get into the final month of Q1?
I think I would see the Treasury bills Down 100 bips, depending on the trigger for me would be as soon as when the federal government or the DMO now does the refinancing switch. But once that is announced, the Treasury bills yields should pull down on the average 100 to 150 bips across the tenor. For the bond, it's a different kettle of fish. I would also want to see the kind of supply outflow we're anticipating. Inflation is looking good, barring shocks. So I think even for the bond space, it's positive, either flat or mild moderation.
Well, it looks like it's been a very decent week for folks like you on Broad Street. Thank you very much, Abiodun Oluyide, the head of Group Treasury at Vetiva Capital Management, one of the Nigeria's investment and securities trading firm. Let's come back after the break. The Nigerian Central Bank of Nigeria wants a tweak to the Bank and Other Financial Institutions Act. Of course, the regulator always wants his own thing. So what does the central bank want? We want to remind you one of the top stories of this week when we return.